Well, hello! How's it going, everybody? It's Tom Mason here, back with another video, and today you're joining me in beautiful Suffolk on the fantastic RSPB Havergate Island. I've been granted permission to come and stay on the island as one of the RSPB's photographers to continue some work on a project that I've been doing for a number of years now, and that is photographing the brown hare. They are by far my favourite subjects in the whole of the UK, and this is a place that I've wanted to get to and come and spend some time with the hares here for many years, so it's super exciting for me to be here on the island on my own to photograph them, and I really can't wait to get diving into some shooting. Now, Havergate Island itself was originally one of the RSPB's literally earliest reserve. I think it was the second reserve they ever got hold of, and it's for the breeding avocets that they had here at the time. They still have breeding avocets, but other areas have become kind of more prevalent for them, so it's not as important as a breeding colony, but it's still a fantastic reserve to be on. I've already had marsh harriers, you know, out the window bar now. There's loads of breeding gulls, everything like that, but really for me it's the hares that I've come to see. In the gorse that's off this way, I already seen like 6 hares this morning. I was here last night, got dropped off by the warden from the boat, and I've already had some wonderful encounters, but today is when the shooting really starts, when I'm going to get out making some pictures. And so I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes, showing you how I develop the pictures and get the shots that I'm after. But first, I'm going to grab a coffee, kind of show you around my digs, and as the light starts to get better, and then this afternoon we'll get out and get cracking making some pictures. Right then, let's talk you through the digs. Well, obviously we've got kitchen on this side, stove, and then my fridge at the back, all my food in the boxes, ready to go, keep me nice and sustained. Got some extra just in case the, you know, the tides are funny and the boat can't get me out for an extra day or whatever, so that's all ready to go. Down here, obviously all my water, because there's no clean water on the reserve, so I've got 2 there and a spare one out there, so I've got loads for the next couple of days. This table, eating, and obviously doing work on my laptop, backing up, all that sort of stuff. And then down here I've got my fantastic Jackery Explorer 1000. Now the guys, full disclosure, the guys at Jackery sent this out to me a while back now to kind of test out and review and see how I'd use it. And it's just been great. I have it in the car most of the time to provide me with like backup electricity. You know, if you're out shooting, especially if I'm using the drone or anything like that, and you know I need to charge it out in the field, this is just great. I've got 2 proper AC sockets, you know, 3-pin UK sockets, as well as USB-C and USB-A. Basically charges everything I need. The battery itself, I've been using it since I got here yesterday to charge up some batteries, used my laptop last night doing some work, and it's gone down 25% through pretty heavy usage, and that's fantastic. What I can do is pop my solar panels, that's down here, out as it's sunny, and get it charged back to full. It just gives me backup electricity, really, especially when I'm kind of, you know, needing to charge things and stuff like that. They do have 12-volt USB here, but it just isn't really enough power for all the stuff that I am charging, so it's really handy to have that as well. Right, and then let's go through in here. Obviously the bedroom, bed, sleeping, all my clothes and everything laid out here, easy access. And then down here, my 2 extra camera bags. They are full of camera trap gear that we will get onto in the next video probably, because we won't be doing that today. But yeah, I'm going to be setting out some camera traps that I'm going to be leaving here as well. So I have so much gear with me on this trip. But I also have here a new lens to try out as well. Picked this up the other day. This is the Nikon 17 to 35mm lens. I've wanted this lens for absolutely years, and I spotted it in mint condition on Wex, so I picked that up, and it's already made some great pictures. I've been using it over the last couple of weeks on various shoots. I went up to the Peak District and stuff like that, but yeah, it's really gorgeous. It's like, you know, 2.8, super bright, but then it gives me a nice range between super wide with the 17 and kind of like standard wide with the 35. That's really nice, so very much looking forward to using that. But that's pretty much it. Oh, also I do have with me the new Nikon Monarch M7 Pluses. I've been kind of trying these out for Nikon. You guys know that I'm also a Nikon Europe Optics ambassador. I help them when I'm testing new optics and stuff for them, and they're great because they're basically a lower price alternative to the Monarch HGs that I usually use, but they've still got the filled flattener technology that's fantastic on the Monarch HGs, but they come in at a lot lower price point. Just due to the fact that they're not built out of kind of the magnesium kind of chassis that you get with the HGs, but the optics in them are really, really nice. And because they're the lightweight versions, they come in the 8 or 10 by 30s. They're super good if you're a photographer, because obviously they're very small and they fit in the bag, and they've been doing very well. Probably will do a full review of those at some point as well, but I just thought I'd talk you through the gear that I've got with me. I'll talk you through camera trap stuff as I'm doing it out in the field. But yeah, of course, my GSO tripod's down there, and the other one that I often use to film myself is at the back. But that is really about it. So I'm going to drink my coffee, and then we're going to grab some cameras and get out, because I'll tell you what, the light is starting to come through the clouds, and it's looking like it might be quite a nice afternoon for some pictures. It's very good, as I've only got a few days to get cracking making some shots. So a bit of sun and a beautiful sunset would not go amiss. Okay, well, I'm kitted up for this afternoon. Light is starting to look really nice. Got a bit of blue sky, but a bit of mixed cloud that should make for some really good conditions, especially if I get some opportunities for the wide angle. Gear that's with me, I've got the Z9 with a 70-200. Going to be kind of the primary lens for shooting some close-in portraits this afternoon. Then I've got the 70-35 on the D850, and I've also got my flash gun with me that hopefully might get some use later on when the light starts to drop a bit, and I can mix some ambient and flash together for some really nice, interesting portraits. What I'm going to do now is probably start with the 70-200. I know there's a couple of hares around the corner because I could see them out of my bedroom window. So I'm going to go get in position and start getting a little bit closer, get them a bit comfortable with my presence, and then we can start making some images. Right, well, just to give you an indication of how close the hares can be on Havergate Island, here is the view back towards where I'm staying, and from a bedroom window just there, straight across under this gorse, there's a hare sat down. Now you might not be able to see him because I'm filming myself at like 24mm, but he's just under this bush too. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the Z9 with a 70-200 and just shoot a little bit of video so you can see how close he really is. Oh, what a stunner. It's actually amazing to be able to get so close to hares like this. You know, just walking around when I'm going to the loo or just moving up and down, I've had hares easily 6 foot away without even trying. So I know that with some good fieldcraft, lying down, staying in the same position for a couple of hours, I'm hopefully going to have some really nice opportunities to get super close to these and experiment shooting some different styles of images that I've wanted for a while. You know, mixing flash with ambient light, using shorter telephoto lenses like a 70-200, even my 85mm prime as well. And of course, just varying compositions and having real time with an animal, something that is hard in a lot of wildlife photography. It's why many of the best images that are made are of species that people just have time to spend with. You know, stuff like puffins, gannets, anything that you can just, you know, sit in a location and have those animals with you for extended periods makes it so much easier to get great shots. And that's why working somewhere like this, where I have access to the subject, where I know they're going to be a lot more comfortable with my presence, means that I can really work to create more creative images rather than just getting those, you know, take-home shots with a long lens. There's often the case with wildlife photography when we don't get a huge amount of time with our subject to really experiment with our shooting. Oh, just getting up. It's now under, you know, we're starting to come into the evening, so the hares are going to be a bit more active now. But I'm actually going to leave this guy where he is because I quite like this shot with the kind of like houses and, you know, stuff behind it. I might come back to that at a later date. As he's sitting in, oh, out he goes. Oh. This is going to be one hell of a week. Right, so a hare has just popped out of this long grass at the edge on the track behind me. So what I'm going to do is do a low and slow crawl down that way and see if I can get a little bit nearer. I'll try and take you guys with me as well. So it's going to be really slow, pushing a tripod and camera in front of me, but with any luck we'll get close enough to get a few nice portraits to kind of kick off this evening's images. But I'm probably going to leave the wide angle and the flash here because it's not too far. I can always come back for it, and I'm probably most likely looking forward to using the 70-200 to get us started, and from the position that I can see it's not going to really make for a nice background for wide angle sort of pictures, so we'll stick with the shorter telephoto and see what we can get making. So I've been slowly making my way up the edge towards this hare, and for most of the time he's been asleep as I've been moving forward, but now just as I've got into photographic range he's come awake and he's started feeding. That is just absolutely amazing. Being able to work with 70-200 is fantastic at this sort of range. Hopefully it's going to give me some options. He's actually moving this way, but I'm filling the frame at 200mm. But anyway, I should stop talking and start shooting. So what I'm going to try and do is settle down. Just move to my left hand side a bit so I can shoot back against the grass behind him. There's the post in the background that you can probably see that's a little bit annoying. In the background it's causing some sort of highlight up on my left hand side, so I'm going to try and skirt round and move that out of my frame. But this is just fantastic. Was rather amazing. So what I was trying to do as I moved off to the side was to work in a few different ways. Firstly, I got some clean portraits using the magnifying tool on the back of the Z9 to just dial in, make sure that eye is absolute pin sharp, because at 2.8 at that kind of distance my depth of field is so shallow I need to be absolutely sure it's dead on. But yeah, it's nice that I can just dial in and doing that. I then worked to do that in landscape firstly, change to portrait, get that image. It's always good to get both orientations when you're shooting. If you get a chance to like have a really good close-up encounter with wildlife, I always try and do portraits, landscapes, and quickly pop the composition, so top right, bottom right, do that and move kind of around the frame to get a variety of composition options. Then after I kind of done my shallow depth of field stuff, I stopped down to f11 so I could get a real nice detailed shot all the way through the frame of the hare. But yeah, in that sort of close-up position there, I kind of think I've got what I was after. Now what I'm going to do is kind of pull back a bit. I might actually walk back to where we were originally started and see if there's any hares up there. I'm going to leave him to kind of chill out, get back to feeding, and we might revisit him later on in the evening when the sun starts to drop a little. But the location that's here probably isn't perfect for wide angles, so I'm going to probably explore down the track back towards the hut and see if we can get a few more images. But that was a rather special way to start my first real evening of photography on Havergate Island. So I've been working my way back down towards the cabin where I'm staying. I've had a few hares off in the middle of the gorse. Didn't want to venture there just yet today. Save that for another day. But just behind this bush up in front of me, there's another hare sat down. So what I'm going to try and do is creep around the edge and get in front of it. We've now got the light off to the right hand side, so hopefully if we can get a little break in the cloud, get a bit of nice light and some final portraits with the 70-200. But my first encounter already was just fantastic. So what I'd like now is a bit more environmental, maybe them standing up, walking around a bit, with a bit of light on the ears to kind of bring them out of the frame would be really cool indeed. So I'm going to see if I can get a little closer and make a few shots. Oh, but I've got to watch out for the gorse because it really hurts when I put my arms on it. Well, as you can see, I made it around the gorse to make a few portraits of this hare. I've been working trying to use the shingle as a little bit of a different foreground, and we've also got the low cloud in the background that's working. It's kind of a more high-key background, really. Most of the time, the shots I've got in the past have been kind of green on green. When you get close enough to a hare, pretty much the background's always green. When I'm working in Hertfordshire and everything like that. So it's nice to get something a little bit different. The shingle is certainly nice. And these small little coastal flowers also work really well. Often they'll kind of go and chew the heads of them and bite them off. And that's the kind of images I'm looking for. There's little moments in nature that is when I want to be pressing the shutter. As it stands right now, I'm probably going to have to get a little bit closer to get kind of frame filling images. And I might actually try and go back round the other side of this bush, because I think he's slowly moving round rather than coming towards me. But I know what happened. I'll move that way and then it'll come this way. So I'm probably best to just wait where I am and see how it unfolds. Sadly, I think we're pretty much going to lose the light, although there is actually a tiny little gap in the clouds. So if that would just poke out and get some nice kind of shafts of light, that would be really quite spectacular. And a great way to finish off the evening. There's a few hares further down, but I think this guy is where I'm going to hang out until the light starts to fade. Time now is 7:30. Still technically got about an hour of light left, but I think due to the fact that we've got really thick cloud, the light's going to go before that. But anyway, I'm going to get back to shooting and enjoying spending some time with this really rather gorgeous brown hare. Well, with the light fading, it's probably time to call that a video. It's been a really productive afternoon with the 70-200. You know, my first encounter at the end of the track gave me some fantastic opportunities to get super close, get those shots of a hare like laying down, bob down, asleep in the grass, some really nice different compositional options. And then as I've moved along the track, finding this hare around here in the gorse just was a great opportunity again to get close. I actually moved around and decided to go back around the other side, and it was the perfect decision. He started to move straight towards me, right down the lens of the camera, and I got some really stunning portraits that I'm super happy with. As the light started to drop as well, I even managed to move back and get my flash gun, put it up in the air, trigger it remotely, and even light with a bit of CTO gel to give that kind of real impression of some really nice hard sunlight coming in. That was a really nice addition to the shots that I've made this evening. I think that's a really good place to kick off my project on Havergate Island, get started with some hares. Tomorrow I'm going to be out, looking for some positions to build some camera traps and get started with that. And of course, in the mornings and evenings, I'll be camera in hand making many, many more pictures. So I suppose until the next one, guys, get out there, enjoy your wildlife photography, and I'll see you very soon. Right, see ya.